teacher, and we are going to present on the topic that is narcolepsy. I'm Philip, and I'm going to be the first one presenting today, followed by Yi Pei, RongYao, Sze Siew, Sin Yee and Sin Yee to conclude. So, here's a brief description of our case study. It's a 30-year-old woman having an EDS for the past 5 years, went easily, feels sleepy at 9 a.m., had recurring neck, frequent sleep paralysis, noticed a shadowy figure image, transient weakness, and suggested treatments are modafinil and quercetin. So going into the history of this disease. Narcolepsy is originated from the English form of French word, first used in 1880 by French physician, originated from two Greek words, narc meaning numbness and lepsis meaning attack or to seize. And going to the background, the first convincing descriptions of narcolepsy catalepsy were reported in Germany by Westphal in 1877, followed by Fischl in 1878. In these two reports, the unique association of episodes of muscle weakness triggered by excitement and sleepiness were described, and hereditary factors were noted in both cases. The mother of Westphal's patient and one sister of Fischl's patient presented narcolepsy symptoms as well. So, what is narcolepsy? It's actually a neurological disorder that affects control of sleep and wakefulness. People with narcolepsy experience EDS and intermittent uncontrollable episodes of violent sleep during the daytime. These sudden sleep attacks may occur during any type of activity at any time of the day. And going to sleep cycle, for a usual sleep cycle, a normal person will actually enter an REM stage, which is the non-rapid eye movement, before they can enter the REM stage, which is the non-rapid eye movement stage. So, comparing the sleep cycle between the normal person and the narcoleptic patient, you can find a very obvious difference is that a narcoleptic patient can enter a sleep cycle at any time of the day. And secondly, as mentioned by me just now, for a normal person, they will enter a non-REM sleep before they enter REM sleep and the cycles are repeated. However, for the narcoleptic patient, they can actually directly enter the REM sleep from wakefulness without entering the non-REM sleep. So, what are the causes for this disease? Scientists have made progress towards identifying genes strongly associated with the disorder, and these genes control the production of chemicals in the brain that may signal sleep and awake cycles. However, this doesn't explain all cases, and these suggested as possible triggers are hormonal changes, major psychological stress, and infections such as swine flu or the medication used to vaccinate against the flu, for example, pandemics. For the signs and symptoms for narcolepsy, the most common major symptom other than the EDS is catalepsy, occurs in about 70% of narcoleptic patients. Sleep paralysis and hallucinations are less common. Only 10 to 25% of affected individuals display all four of these major symptoms, which are the EDS, catalepsy, sleep paralysis, and hallucinations. And very unfortunately, the patient for our case study will actually experience all of these major symptoms. Going into a little bit detail for EDS, it can occur no matter the person with narcolepsy has sufficient sleep at night. Periods of drowsiness that usually end in short naps for 3 or 4 hours in our position, for a few hours if they are lying down, involving mental cloudiness, lack of energy, memory lapses, depressive moods, and extreme exhaustion. So, going into catalepsy is a sudden loss of muscle tone during wakefulness. Catalepsy is quite a major part in our case study, and is going to be described later by our colleague. And hallucinations is primarily visual but can involve other senses. Hypnagogic hallucinations experienced by our patient in our case study were accompanied sleep onset, and hypnagogic hallucination by our clinic. And lastly, sleep paralysis, also known as atonia, is a temporary inability to move or speak while falling asleep or waking up. Generally brief episodes and lasting a few seconds to several minutes. Now I'm passing on to Yi Pei to further describe on pathology of this disease.
Thank you, Philip. So hi everyone, my name is Yi Pei, and I'm going to talk about the pathophysiology of narcolepsy. Like what Philip has mentioned, narcolepsy is characterized by a disturb of our normal REM and non-REM sleep cycle, which will lead them to have an imbalanced sleep-wake cycle transition. This diagram shows a comparison between a normal people and a narcolepsy people, whereby the upper diagram shows that in normal people we have at least 8 hours of sleep and also have a regular pattern of REM and non-REM cycle. However, the below diagram shows that in narcolepsy patients, they have fragmented sleep patterns throughout the day, which means that they do not have a continuous sleep cycle. And besides They also have more REM sleep cycle as indicated in the purple color region. This is because they can enter into this stage in within 10 minutes. Unlike in normal people, our sleep cycle will begin with non-REM and only into the REM after about 90 minutes. So this characteristic has causes the brief daytime sleep attacks as presented in the narcoleptic patient. So moving on, the first pathophysiology is the genetic factor. In here, HLA-DQB1 gene plays an important role in our immune system to distinguish the foreign particles and to destroy them. So the variations of this gene, which are the HLA-DQB1 *0602 and the DQA1 *0102, has found to be strongly associated with narcolepsy, and it also causes the loss of orexin neurons, which are explained later. And based on statistics, it's found that these genes are found in 12 to 25% of the general population, which has increased the risk of developing this narcolepsy 7 to 25-fold. The next pathophysiology will be the destruction of orexin. So what is orexin? It is a neuropeptide, or we can call them as hypocretin. We have two types, which are the orexin A and B, or known as hypocretin 1 and 2. And they are found in the lateral hypothalamus in our brain. The two receptors that associate with it will be the OX1R and OX2R, or also known as the hypocretin receptor 1 and 2. And they are widely distributed in our CNS. And the binding of the ligands to the receptors will actually affect our regional states that maintain our wakefulness, alertness, and so concentration. Therefore, we can say that if a person lack of orexin, it will cause them to feel sleepy, and so poor control of REM sleep, and hence develop narcolepsy. However, the destruction of this hypocretin is not completely known. Many research has found that it's possibly by autoimmune reaction, whereby our own body will accidentally kill off our hypocretin neuron cell. And besides that, it is also most likely to be associated with the genetic factors, as I mentioned just now, the mutation or the variation of the HLA-DQB1 gene. Aside from that, in people who have narcolepsy with cataplexy symptom, it is found that the levels of their hypocretin 1 ligand in their cerebrospinal fluid is very low or even undetectable. As you can see in this diagram, it compares the narcolepsy and the normal people, and the black dots represents the hypocretin. So this proves that the loss of orexin will actually cause narcolepsy. And the third pathophysiology is related to the abnormalities of our monoamine and cholinergic synaptic transmission. Hypocretin, it serves as a major neuromodulators that regulates these two neurotransmitters, and as we all know, these two neurotransmitters is very important in maintaining our normal sleep-wake cycle as well. So if a person's hypocretin system is dysfunction, it will affect this cholinergic and monoaminergic transmission, which will disrupt our normal sleep-wake cycle and hence develop narcolepsy. So next, I'll pass the time to RongYao.
Thank you, Yi Pei. So I'm RongYao. I'm going to talk about the cataplexy. In our case, our patient has developed the cataplexy after her medication, fluoxetine, has just run out of supply. So what is cataplexy? So cataplexy is actually cataplexa, meaning cataplexa to strike down with fear or the like. So basically, it is actually a common symptom of the narcolepsy. It's involved the sudden loss of the muscle, which having the patients can have a slack jaw, can have a broken speech, bottlenecks, which is caused by the intense emotion, heavy fever, and some stress. So one prominent feature of the cataplexy is it is actually similar with the rapid eye movement, but it is occurring during the wakefulness. So what would be the triggers of the cataplexy? As I mentioned just now, the intense emotion is the most important triggers. For example, like laughter, fear, anger, sadness, and also the embarrassment. So next, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the clinical characteristic of the cataplexy. So as you can see from the first video, the lady is having a cataplexy after she experienced the movement, and suddenly actually attacked by a sleep attack. But this is normally only lasts for a few seconds to few minutes. And for the next video, basically the cataplexy is actually slow and progressive, which the patient can actually avoid an injury. And the third a video showing that the cataplexy is triggered by the emotion, for example, laughter, and experiencing the jaw dropping, and also some head slumping symptoms. So next, I'm going to talk about the causes of the cataplexy. So for narcolepsy patient, as Yi Pei mentioned just now, most of the causes will be due to the reduced level of the chemical hypocretin, which is a neurotransmitter that results in the inhibition of the predominant wake promoting mechanism. So without hypocretin, we're actually having the loss of the wake promoting mechanism. Also, that may be due to the secondary cataplexy. So what is secondary cataplexy? So secondary cataplexy is actually associated with specific lesion, meaning that the lesions can be included tumor in the brain or the brainstem. So it is extremely important to rule out the secondary cataplexy in children, because sometimes those children who are experiencing the cataplexy may due to the tumor. So how do we actually can rule out the secondary and also the primary cataplexy? Maybe we can just rule out the onset of the disease. So research has shown that the children who are actually likely to develop the secondary cataplexy is actually less than 12 years old. So the most common tumor that will be developed in the children will be craniopharyngioma, which is a type of the brain tumor that is quite common in the children. Next, I'm going to touch a little bit about the diagnosis. Normally, the cataplexy will be diagnosed by the symptom presentation and some questionnaire, for example, a Stanford Narcolepsy questionnaire, an Epworth Sleepiness Scale, and some sleep study, for example, like polysomnogram (PSG), and also MLST, multiple sleep latency. But this will further discussed by Scarlett later, and also some treatments. Most of the time, this cataplexy is not curable but manageable. The most common treatment medication we use are tricyclic antidepressant, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, for example, like fluoxetine, and also serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor, for example, like venlafaxine. While the newest drug nowadays is actually sodium oxybate, which is also discussed by Jason and Sin Yee later. So now I'm going to pass my start to Scarlett.
Hi, I'm Sze Siew. I'm going to talk about how a clinician diagnoses a person with narcolepsy. Firstly, of course, we need to diagnose based on the symptoms present, like EDS, cataplexy, sleep paralysis, and hallucination, as mentioned by Philip just now. And to confirm the EDS, we use ESS. So what is ESS? ESS stands for Epworth Sleepiness Scale. It is a patient self-report that quantifies the degree of daytime sleepiness to assess the probability to dose of floor acid in 8 common daytime activities, which are sitting and reading, watching television, sitting inactive, and else. So, by adding the score for each of the 8 questions, give a total score ranging from 0 to 24. The ESS score from 0 to 10 is considered normal, while it's greater than 10 means it's suggested the EDS, and if the EDS is greater than 16, it has a high level of EDS. Apart from that, polysomnography and multiple sleep latency test (MSLT) is also used to monitor the patient's sleep cycle and to diagnose the narcolepsy. So, what is polysomnography? Polysomnography is a sleep study that conducted in a comfortable bedroom with several equipment to record the brainwave, the heart rate of the patients. By interpreting the polysomnogram, clinicians can identify the event that suggests a patient with narcolepsy, such as the increase in the state 1 sleep, the presence of SOREM, sleep onset REM periods, which means the patient can move into REM sleep within 15 minutes of sleep onset, but then the normal person will only reach the REM sleep after about 90 minutes of sleep onset. Next, the patient also will experience a short sleep latency of less than 10 minutes, means they can fall asleep very fast, as well as multiple waking. So, MSLT, multiple sleep latency test. Actually, MSLT is quite similar to polysomnography, just that polysomnography is conducted during nighttime, while MSLT is conducted during daytime. In MSLT, patient will be scheduled with 5 naps, each limited to 15 minutes, and a 2-hour gap will be given between the naps. So, from the MSLT, patients with narcolepsy will have a mean sleep latency of 8 minutes or even lesser, and they will have 2 or more SOREMs present. This means that they can fall asleep very fast even in daytime, but with disturbed sleep cycle. So, some narcolepsy patients will experience cataplexy, but some will not. It is important to differentiate them as they will have different treatment. So the blood tests that we suggested to differentiate them are CSF hypocretin and HLA typing. As Yi Pei mentioned just now, one of the risk factors that causes patients with narcolepsy with cataplexy are disruption of the CSF hypocretin level. So clinicians can identify the patient with narcolepsy with cataplexy by looking on the CSF hypocretin level of less than 110 picogram per milliliter. While research also found that 90 to 100% of patients with narcolepsy with cataplexy will have this gene, HLA-DQB1 asterisk 0602. So clinicians can use this study to confirm that patient will have a narcolepsy with cataplexy. But then, research also found out 40 to 60% of patients with narcolepsy without cataplexy also having this gene. So the clinical use of HLA subtype DQB1 asterisk 0602 gene is limited because of these genetic variations. So the summary of diagnosis, firstly we diagnose based on the symptom and description given by patients, and to confirm the symptom EDS we use CSS. To confirm narcolepsy we can use polysomnography and MSFT, and lastly to recognize patient with narcolepsy with cataplexy we can use CSF hypocretin test and HLA typing. So now I'll pass to Jason.
I'm Jason. Now I'll be focusing more on the treatment. In this case, our patients are given modafinil. So for this section, for my sections, I'll be talking about modafinil, the mechanism of actions, contraindications, the special precautions, side effects, as well as counseling points for modafinil. Mechanism of actions of modafinil is still a mystery. However, there are studies show that it promotes wakefulness through the activation of noradrenergic and dopaminergic systems, probably through interaction with the hypocretin or the so-called orexin systems. There's another study show that modafinil is capable of promoting wakefulness in the absence of an orexin receptors. There are studies brought to another level suggested that modafinil suppresses the GABA receptors. In their studies as well, they do note that modafinil provides neuroprotective effect, which slows down the degradation of ATP. Okay, so all drugs usually have side effects. Modafinil is no exception. For modafinil, there are serious rash which is noted after they marketed the drug, which is in post-market surveillance, but not noted in the clinical studies. Psychiatric symptoms, angioedema and anaphylaxis reactions, anxiety, cardiovascular events such as tachycardia, hypertension, as well as depression is also noted with patients given to modafinil. Contraindications for modafinil. Modafinil is not recommended for patients below. Patients that develop hypersensitivity towards modafinil, as well as the R enantiomer of modafinil, the R modafinil, as well as the component in the formulation, such as lactose. Pregnant lady are not recommended to take modafinil, as the modafinil will cross the placenta and affects the fetus. Patients with uncontrolled, moderate, severe or severe hypertension, as well as history of mitral valve history of left ventricular hypertrophy are not recommended to take modafinil as well. Special precautions of modafinil. Modafinil should be used with caution in patients with history of cardiovascular disease, and alcohol abuse, depression, mania, as well as psychosis. We do need to take care of patients which manifest Tourette syndrome, as well as patients who are suffering from hepatic and as well as renal impairment. Counseling points for modafinil. For patients who are taking modafinil, they are required to take tablets as directed by the prescriber in the morning. This is according to BNF and as well as lexicon. There are two doses according to means. Adult 200 to 400 milligram daily are recommended. For elderly, initially they are recommended to take 100 milligram daily. For patients with hepatic and renal impairment, they are required to reduce the dose to 100 to 200 milligrams daily. And patients can take modafinil with or without food. They are not recommended to take double dose, which means they do not double up their dose in case they forget to take their previous dose. And patients should be discontinued to use or stop using modafinil if they are discovered to show serious skin rashes at the first sign, as well as starting to develop psychiatric disorders such as suicidal thoughts.
So in our case, why our patients are given modafinil? This is because modafinil is a non-amphetamine wakefulness promoting medication. Hence, it is pharmacologically distinct from amphetamine, and the abuse potential for the modafinil is low. In this case, modafinil do not cause any autonomic arousal as well as psychostimulant activity as the other sympathomimetic drugs do. And the evidence are given by the researcher collective in his methodologically flawed randomized controlled trials of 200 participants as well as flawed the systemic reviews of modafinil. And another thing is FDA also approved modafinil for treatments of excessive sleepiness in adults with narcolepsy, with or without cataplexy. For now, I'll pass it to my colleague to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Sze Siew. So my name is Sin Yee. I'm going to present the antidepressant. For information, antidepressant medication has been used for decades to treat cataplexy. Well, however, there are limited clinical studies to examine the effect of this medication. So the guidelines of their use are mostly depends on the experience of narcolepsy specialists. So today our main focus is selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, shortcut SSRI, and is used as second-line therapies. However, if the patient has coexisting depressive symptoms, it can be used as a first-line treatment. So, two class 3 evidence show that the fluoxetine is mildly active on the cataplexy, and one level 2 or one level 5 studies support its efficacy. So the patient is fluoxetine effective. The patients experience a mean reduction of 92% in the cataleptic episodes after the treatment. This shows that the fluoxetine safely and effectively suppresses the cataplexy, which reduces the need for other anti-cataleptic agents. So look at the mechanism of actions. Once entered the body, the fluoxetine will produce the active metabolite, which is a non-fluoxetine. It will then block the reuptake of serotonin and increase the synaptic concentration of serotonin. Well, this will cause the downregulation of presynaptic autoreceptor and then increase in the firing rate of the nephron neurons. Well, for these paralysis circuits are normally blocked by noradrenaline and serotonin. That's why, with loss of hypothalamic levels of these two neurotransmitters may be low. So this is the main reason to treat cataplexy with antidepressant that increase the serotonin levels. So it really helps to reduce the frequency of sleep attacks, which help to establish a good sleep hygiene. It will strongly suppress the REM sleep, which can help to alleviate the symptoms of cataplexy, hallucination, and sleep paralysis. For the side effect, the SSRI have fewer side effects compared to cyclic depressant, but it may not work as well. And the risk of development of REM behavior disorders will cause harm to himself. The most common side effects are nausea, drowsiness, headache, weight gain, and sexual dysfunction. And it's not recommended in narcoleptic pregnant ladies because there are not sufficient clinical study to assess the risk for the human fetus. So why fluoxetine? The advantages are generally well tolerated due to fever side effect and long lasting, while it works more quickly on cataplexy compared to the sodium oxybate, which is the first line treatment. And the disadvantages part is compared to tricyclic antidepressant, higher doses are required and the effects are less pronounced. So this is just an illustration. Long half-life, that's why long lasting and work more quickly. So in our case, after the patient running out of the fluoxetine, he experienced cataplexy. So this is because sudden discontinuation of the anti-cataplectic medication can produce rebound cataplexy, including a status cataplectus. So the dose should be gradually reduced. The recommended withdrawal schedule is 1 dose for every 4 days. So this is a complication. The patient may experience frequent or prolonged cataplectic attacks, which can be fatal. So with this marks the end of RongYao's presentation. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Just one question. So, modafinil, if it's used to promote wakefulness, can it be used in people who do not have narcolepsy?
In the literature, that yes, because modafinil is being promoted in a movie called Limitless as a smart drug. to prevent, how to say, it's been taken as caffeine, something like equivalent to caffeine, but more potent caffeine. So people are taking this drug in the Narcolepsy systemic review. People are taking it because they wish to block the receptors in A1 and A2A. But then since that morphine they act in a different pharmacological pathway, it actually slows down the degradation of ATP in the CNS. Since adenosine is a metabolic product from degradation of ATP, and the increase in concentration of adenosine that binds to A1 and A2A, which induce sleep, and interferes with the cholinergic systems in the RAS, reticular acid baking system. So in their review, they did review other people's research stating that people are taking the drug, with healthy people without narcolepsy, they take it as a boost to increase their CNS performance.
Any long-term side effects regarding people who use it as a boost?
Actually, no, because they did not do the review on healthy people. Yeah.
Is there any genetic link about this particular disorder, narcolepsy, or is there any strong genetic links or family history? Is it associated with any family history?
Genetic link with narcolepsy and cataplexy.
So far found to be the mutation of this gene. But
Since you said it's a,
yeah.
some of the genes you identify, is there a family history of somebody having genetic link?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because some of them has found to have inherited the remedies.
Next question. You said fluoxetine work more quickly. How many days after giving? How many hours? How many days it start working? You said it works more quickly, long lasting. Okay, it's a long half-life. And then how many days after taking fluoxetine? How many days it works? Start works. You said more quickly and yeah. Let's say I take fluoxetine today. When I supposed to start to work? When is supposed to start working for me? Fluoxetine. Normally it takes 4 weeks. Not quickly. Normally it takes 4 to 6 weeks. Just it's not very quickly. Okay. Yeah, after 1 month only. Usually after 1 month only you can see the changes. That's how the most of the antidepressant medication works. You never see the efficacy after taking the medication as soon as possible.
It's not.
Because you know why the mechanism? You said it works adrenergic mechanism and agonistic mechanism. You know why? Because it has to increase the BDNF level. Because to activate the nervous system, the BDNF is very important. So to synthesize the BDNF, it takes normally 1 month. So that's why it starts with the BDNF, then there is a mood elevation. That's how you actually, the patient can be treated from the narcolepsy. Then you back to the normal way of sleeping pattern, okay? Because the wakefulness will be improved.
But the works more quickly is actually compared to sodium oxybate. Now sodium oxybate I saw from the internet is take 3 months to work.
Oh, okay. You're comparing sodium oxybate, okay? That takes more than 3 months, okay. And compared to the oxybate, it's okay. Yeah.